The 2024 NBA Summer League is going to start this weekend. The Blazers will send rookie Donovan Clingan, but not Scoot Henderson. We will talk about both of those topics and more on the Blazer Focus podcast. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian and OregonLive, and I'm joined by Craig Birnbach. As always, we haven't spoken since the draft. Not much has gone on. Jerry McGrant's still a Blazer. Anthony Simons is still a Blazer. We'll see how long that lasts, but we do have something coming out worth talking about, and that's the NBA Summer League, because the Blazers' number 7 pick, Donovan Clingan, the 7'2" monster center. Dude is tall. I stood next to him for the first time today, actually. Dude is legit 7'2". Big dude, no question. He probably could block my shot in the lane, even if I did a floater. But yeah, maybe. I might be able to get him up and under, a little up, but I don't know.
I don't think you got any up. You got under, but I don't think you got any up.
I can still grab the rim, son. I may come down and tear something on the way down. But anyway, I'm just commenting on that just because there's so many times people are like, do 6'7". I stand in front of him. I'm like, he ain't nobody 6'7". This guy's legit 7'2". Anyway, so last year was a Scoot show, last of the game. Year before that, it was a Sharp show, lasted 4 minutes and 56 seconds. Right? This year is the Donovan Clingan show. The best thing about Summer League really is you get some rookies in there and you get excited, just watch them in action. You and I both, and you're going to tell a story here in a minute, have experienced enough either as fans or as journalists where you get excited about someone, what they did in the Summer League, and you realize that it's fool's gold. But anyway, still, there's a lot to look forward to, I think, with Donovan this weekend and the next week, because he's different than sort of what the Blazers have had in a while in terms of a rookie, right? I guess Zach 7 years ago, Zach Collins was a 6'11", 7-foot rookie center, but there's been a long time,
Leonard,
few
of course.
Far between with. Yeah, that was what year was he? 2013. He came in with CJ, but he came in with a lot less hype than Clingan's coming in with. The Blazers have basically said we took him 7th, but we had a higher grade on him, maybe 3 or 4. So there's a lot more hype on him than there is Myers Leonard. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, but tell everyone why they should be cautiously optimistic about whatever it is they see from Mr. Clingan.
So I don't like to, kill people's joy. If you want to enjoy Summer League.
That's my job.
No, that's right. That's your job. Enjoy Summer League. It's basketball. And if you love basketball, watch Summer League. It's fun. We both been there. The best part of Summer League is stuff not happening on the court, really, when you're there, because you're like, holy crap, Larry Bird's here. Or, look at that. And other guys that come to watch. But it is basketball, and you get to see some cool stuff. Guys explode. But I will say, when I first came to Portland as a sports anchor, and I was going to cover an NBA team on an everyday basis for the first time, I was so pumped. I covered NFL. Like, you have so few and tons of, college football, but the windows of coverage of practices, it's just practices season. You don't have summer football league. This was going to be great. And you're going to see the rookies right away. And my second year, though, is when reality hit me, because the Blazers drafted Jared Bayless, 11th overall, really good college player, obviously at Arizona, tough-minded, great shape. And I went to Summer League that year for like a weekend. I made it a work fun thing, and he blew it up. He was amazing. He was the MVP. He averaged like 30. And I was like, oh, Jared Bayless. He's going to be an all-star. The Blazers got an all-star. Like, people are sleeping on him, even though he's 11th overall. And Jared Bayless not an all-star. He's not an all-star, Fentress. You can look up. You probably bought plenty of cards, and they're not worth that. He had an NBA career. He had an NBA career. But that's what I learned. Summer League don't mean, but you know what? It just doesn't. It don't get fooled. Because if Summer League was everything, Nate Robinson would be in the Hall of Fame. Another solid NBA team, but And Nick Batum would have never played in the league because I remember Nick Batum was awful in summer league. Like he couldn't even dribble. Like this guy's never going to play the NBA. Now Nick Batum's 77 years old and still contributing on an everyday basis. So I'm just saying that was my realization that, summer league is not necessarily a great indication of how a player will fare when the real season begins.
Well, the Blazers won the summer league 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, they got a championship.
And I don't think there's a guy still on the team other than Shaden who played 5 minutes of that summer league remaining. I think everyone else is gone, if I'm correct.
That's true.
My guy was Doug McDermott, whom the Bulls traded up to get in 2014 or 2011. 2011.
Guy can shoot.
They traded up to get him, and I was all excited. Like, man, they traded up to get him. They like him. They think he can be, that guy from the outside, blah, blah, blah. I watched a couple of summer league games. He was lighting it up effortlessly. I'm thinking, ooh, man, we got a dude. This is going to be sweet. 2.5 years later, he was gone. Now, he's carved out a decent career. He's still in the league. He's played a long time, man. 12 seasons. He can still shoot. Career three-point shooting percentage of 41%. But the problem was that's all he can really do.
Right, that's his job.
It didn't quite work out, and the Bulls passed on Zach LaVine, whom they later went and traded for, and they passed on Yusuf Nurkic in that draft. Anyway, but, all that negativity coming from your Eastern roots aside.
I'm just saying, enjoy it. I like
kidding.
They keep score. Guys dunk.
They keep scoring.
People go nuts when guys dunk, and it's cool to see. Every once in a while, like Kevin Durant showed up one year. It's fun, but don't get crazy now. Just because Zach Edey went for
15 and 13 or whatever, right?
Doesn't mean that day one. Maybe it might mean that, but don't think that day one that means he's going to dominate the league.
Everyone made a mistake. Great. I saw some of that. People made a mistake in the first round.
Like a summer league star, tip it. He got to tip it. Exactly. He's 7'2", like the closest guy on the court was like 6'3".
He's 7'4", isn't he?
I know. Yeah, he's 7'4". Actually, he's legit 7'4". So
okay. So what we're saying,
if
Clingan goes down there and goes right, if Clingan goes down there and goes 18 and 12, that doesn't mean he's going to come back and do that for the NBA team.
And if he goes 4 and 6, don't think he's a bum.
Right, exactly. Now, 4 and 6, I don't know. Okay, so my goal for him, and it's all about my goals. It's not about Cronin or Billups or Donovan. It's about me. I want more than anything to see him shoot, because Billups bragged about it, right? His shooting. I've heard stories. Other people talked about stories about how he lit it up in practice. They had a shooting contest the other day in the summer league practice. And according to Minaya, I think it was, Donovan lit it up. Again, shooting against air, different than shooting in games. But apparently he sacrificed his offense for defense and winning at UConn. They won back-to-back national titles. You can't argue against that. But I asked the coach, Jonah, and I asked Donovan, are we going to see this guy unleashed? Jonah said, definitely, probably, maybe more threes than he got up at UConn, which was 9 over 2 seasons. I'd like to see 2 or 3 a game. Actually, I told Donovan today 3 to 5 a game is my goal for him. I don't think that's going to happen. But that, for me, is the biggest thing. I want to see this dude shoot the ball. I want to see mid-range shots. I want to see 3-pointers. I want to see some jump hooks or something, whatever, to show that this guy can play offense.
All right, so first of all, I'm going to admit something here. When you said that Myers Leonard was drafted with CJ, I was trying to say he was drafted with Damian Lillard. And then I was like, was I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. Myers and Damian came in together.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah. Right.
So anyway.
Was that 12? Was that 12?
Yeah, he was 12.
And CJ was 13. Okay, my bad.
And Myers Leonard went 11th overall.
Right.
When Damian went 6th.
Right.
So I'd like, of course I want to see him do stuff and have. I think he's gonna. I told you I think he's gonna shoot. He is athletic. He looks like he can do things. The UConn did not need him to shoot. Like, that was not his thing. But you had heard from obviously his teammates and his Danny Ferry, who's he's from the great state of New Jersey, so he's awesome. But Danny Hurley. Did I say Danny Ferry?
You said Danny Ferry. I was like, wait, what?
I'm going old school. I'm just going way back. Danny Hurley saying that this guy could really play and he could do more than just play defense. I I want to see him shoot threes because that's the league, and that will change things, right? And we know his head coach would like to see it because he's been talking about having Ayton shoot more threes. So, yeah, I'm excited. I also want to see how athletic he is against other NBA caliber players, and how he plays defense. We talked a little about Zach Edey. I was really impressed with how he looked. I mean, he looked faster than I thought. He looked like he was in great shape. Clingan has always, to me, been extremely impressive, very athletic, can really run the court. And obviously this league is changing to make sure that big men can be active parts of offense now, not just the guy that sets the pick and, gets put back. So, yeah, I mean, it's by far the most
postman back. I want to see the postman back.
Oh, you want to see? Yeah, that's over, baby. That's over.
No, that's coming back. Bring it back.
What? Everything does come back. Everything comes back. But it's by far.
If my daughter, hold on. If my daughter and her friends can wear mom jeans, and that's in style, then we can bring back the down on the block center.
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. I still think Akeem Olajuwon would kill it. No one could stop him inside even today. But he'd probably be shooting threes.
Who's this? Who'd you say?
Akeem,
yeah. Well, all those big guys back then would have learned how to shoot the three coming up. Many of them, there was no such thing as a 3-pointer in high school when many were in high school, and some of them played it with a little bit in college, but it wasn't. No one was going to say take the 7-footer and put him behind the 3-point line. So it just wasn't a thing. But had they grown up today, all of them would shoot threes. Yes.
Yeah. Even Patrick Ewing no one thought he could play offense the way he ended up playing offense in the NBA. Because in college,
he was a really good shooter, mid-range jumper.
Right. Turnaround jumper was money.
Yeah. He definitely could have extended that.
He looked good when he shot threes.
Yeah.
He didn't obviously take many except when the buzzer's going down. But I mean, great athletes, great players adapt and they go with what style works. Here's who I don't think could have shot threes. Shaq. Even I just don't. I mean, maybe, and I know he liked to joke about it, but that guy couldn't make a free throw, and I don't think he could have developed into this, but he was so dominant. But when you think about Summer League and the Blazers right now, it's really the only thing I'm really looking forward to is seeing him. The rest of it, now that Scoot's not playing, is, I mean, Chris Murray's 24 years old. Like, if he gets the MVP of Summer League, I'm not going to be that excited, because he should be better. He should be really good in Summer League. He's going to be, one of the oldest guys there. And I don't know. There's just not much other to look at. I mean, the Blazers regular team roster, when we start the season, it might look a lot like a Summer League roster. Like if they end up making all these trades and your man.
So
I want to see what Clingan looks like and how he matches up, how the Blazers decide to use him. That's the other thing. The way guys are used in Summer League is not how they're used often in the season too, right? If Jared Bayless was here today, he'd say, if they would have let me just run the team and have the ball, I would have averaged 29 a game in the real NBA.
Well, two things. So one, Summer League guards are the worst. Like, I remember watching, I think I was watching one of Wendy's games last year, and there was some guard out there just running around, just jacking up shots and not getting the ball to Wemby. I'm like, your job should be to come down and show how you can get the Wemby, not jack up shots. But Casey Haldall brought this up today about sort of like maybe, the old school centers kind of coming back a little bit. And if that's true, and Clingan can demonstrate that he can be a force on the block and an interior defender, then that could be a huge get if that becomes more the style. Because things got a lot more physical the last 2 months. The game was being called differently. Remember, scoring came down a little bit, and physicality became more of a thing. So having a big dude like that in the middle could really pay off, and maybe he doesn't get lost in the idea of, like we talked about, where everyone's shooting from outside and bigs got to shoot outside. So we'll see. But for me, like I said, the big thing is I want to see tangible evidence that this guy can actually shoot. Because if he can't on a consistent basis in the NBA, then he's just going to be another big dude out there just running around. And right now, for me, the over-under on him is Nurk. Is he going to be better than Nurk, or is he going to be not quite as good as Nurk? I think it could go either way.
Yeah, that's an interesting call, the over-under on Nurk, because to me, that's
Nurk's
a hard
pretty
guy.
good. Nurk's pretty good.
Good Nurk is really good. That's the thing with Nurk to me is his inconsistency, so he's hard to judge. And he hasn't been the same since his injury. I always wonder what would happen if his leg didn't snap.
Yeah.
He was just the trajectory and coming back, and big guys and feet, and legs. If they go, it's hard. And he was at, that one run that he had. He looked amazing, 30 and 20. Just a different player than we have today. Even though good Nurk is still really good, he can have some great performances. I don't know. I also think he's 20, so I'm not gonna gonna get crazy. I'm gonna go with the Fentress thing. He's 20. Why would he be ready yet? So I'm okay with if he struggles a little bit, but I really like him. As we discussed, he was the guy I wanted them to get. I think when you're a team like the Blazers, you need parts, and at some point you're going to need a center that could play like he can, whether defensively. And even if, he's a 7th overall pick in what is considered to be a really bad draft, right? So if he ends up being even just a really, solid player, I think you're fine. If he becomes a starter, I think it's a win. You got a starter. You only got to fill 5, and they haven't really filled many.
He's got to be a winning caliber starter.
Yeah, but how do you know?
Cronin
20.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, okay, as far as the rebuild goes, you got to hit on guys. And when the GM says we had this guy rated higher than 7, and we were talking about moving up to get him, then they're telling you they think he's a certain level guy. If he doesn't reach that level,
or that the other guys were really, really bad.
Okay. We could say that, but they don't, I don't think, they're not claiming they think he's going to be mediocre. They think he can be really good. Yeah. And so you need to start seeing some hits. Some of these guys got to start hitting, or Absolutely. The question is, are they making poor choices? This jury's still out on Shaden. Jury's still out on Scoot. Clearly, the jury's hasn't even got together. They haven't even picked a jury yet for Donovan. But if he doesn't work out and you move off Ayton too soon, or Ayton just doesn't work out either, then you have a huge hole at center, so that you're still trying to feed it or fill as you move forward. Anyway, what do you think about Scoot? Scoot's not playing. I know some people out there think he should. I'm indifferent about it. He played a lot of basketball last year, especially the last 2 months. He got himself, he was injured. He came back. He struggled. In the last 2 months, he actually played solid basketball. I don't think he needs to play 5 summer league games. Now, some people say, get him out there with Clingan. They can start working together. They can do that in the gym. They don't need to do that in the summer league game. I'm good with him not playing. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Again, I just overestimating summer league for what it brings to the regular season. They're not, like you said, summer league guards are, are trash, because half of them are playing for contracts in Europe or overseas. They know they're not making the Spurs, that guy. So he's just going to do whatever he can to show that somebody, here's my video, here's my tape. Somebody pay me.
Look how I waved off Wemby and then went to the lane and just.
I don't need Wemby. And who's he going to play with on this summer league team that is going to matter that much? I think practice matters more.
That's my thing. Playing with Minaya and Rupert and Chris Murray.
But, Minaya is going to be a star on this team, you hope. Whatever. Because
Minaya is?
Yeah, he's
playing.
What
do you think of Kamara? Justin Minaya, I said.
On the summer league.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
No, I was like, on the summer league, he could be the star.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's playing the NBA. All year in practice and then in the actual games. I'm just saying, but it's not real. They're not running all the same stuff. It's not even the G League. You know what I mean? Where you're saying this is the stuff we're running, with the Blazers, we're going to learn it here. He's already played in the G League. You know what I mean? So I don't think he needs to play Summer League. Selfishly, yeah, I'd like to have seen him play, couple games, let him play 2 games and see. But the other thing is, often what happens is like you get a hangnail, they say he's out anyway. So because we're not going to risk it. And you do risk him looking bad. And not because he's bad. Sometimes it's the way Scoot's going to play and star in the NBA, in my opinion, is going to be a playmaker who makes his teammates better and then scores.
Right.
And if you don't have that help, then, he throws a perfect pass. The guy's in the wrong spot. Looks like his turnover. And he's like frustrated, or he's running and no one could keep up with him. So he's just going to be 1-on-4. And then, so I don't care. I just wish he'd play because I want to see Scoot play and I want to see him look great. But all that matters about Scoot is what he does in the league, the actual league, not what he does in Summer League.
I think Scoot would just light up the Summer League. Like I think he would just destroy it because he went through a grind.
Yeah.
And he went through a grind against adult NBA players who made him work and sometimes made him look bad. There's not going to be anyone in the G League that's going to make Scoot work and make Scoot look bad. Everything he learned, especially those last 2 months, he would apply it and he would absolutely blow by people, get to the rack as much as he wanted. He'd hit jumpers. I think it would be too easy for him. That doesn't mean I think he's ready to be a star in the NBA, but he's certainly above the G League. And like you said, who he's playing with. Now, him working with Clingan, that's great, but they can do that stuff during the summer at the facility. They don't need to go do it in Vegas. Murray, Rupert, Minaya, I don't think that matters. I mean, Chris Murray might be in the 8 or 9 man rotation depending on trades. But I just don't think he gets much out of that. So I think they made a wise decision. Plus, I mean, he could get hurt. He could pop a hammy. He could do something crazy. He got hurt last year. Sharp got hurt 2 years ago. So I think it's smart to keep him out. He can get enough work in at the facility with their own guys without going to Vegas. All right. What do you want to see from Murray, Rupert, and Minaya? Or do you care?
I want to see Chris Murray score a lot of points.
Right.
Because if he's not, why is he doing this? Why do they have him there? He was an older first round pick in the world, that crazy world we live in now, right? Where when you're 23 years old, you're old, but we did see he shot, obviously he was awful in the beginning. I mean, he couldn't hit anything. And you're like, this guy's a shooter because he can't shoot. But then he showed some stuff and he had some decent games. But no one went, oh gosh, this guy's in our future. Well, I want to see him be the best player on the court, which in Summer League he should be. I mean, he was a first round draft pick. He's older than most of these guys. I want to see him score 20, in games that he's playing, if they play him the minutes that, that allow for that. So if you're going to say, who's this person that you're after Clingan, who are you most interested in seeing?
Right.
It's Murray. Because they could have not let him play in Summer League, and said, you're first round pick. You played. No, but I'm interested to see him be kind of an alpha player in Summer League, which is something he should. I hope that's the role they're playing for him. I mean, if you look at it, he should be like
he and Clingan are the top 2 players. Yeah, he and Clingan are the top 2 players for them by far.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned the age thing, which is legit. So for me, the guy I want to see the most is Rupert because he's only 20. I think he just turned 20, right? He just turned 20 40 days ago. So there's a young guy with a lot of ability, with great upside. So if Murray's 24 and this guy's 20, that's four more years of growth. And
a lot of hype. A lot of people love Rupert.
Yeah, a lot of hype. Athletic, defensive guy who actually, his shooting came around. Now they weren't high leverage shots, but he shot 36% from 3, which was much better than he shot before he came to the Blazers. So I want to see him take another jump and maybe establish himself as someone better than the Summer League. Like, show me that you're too good for the Summer League, so maybe you don't have to go back next year to sort of justify them hyping him the way they did in the draft when they took him in the second round. So show me something that lends me to believe, okay, they could have something here moving forward.
Right. Or show somebody else, another franchise, that you got something here. Because we keep talking about we don't know how many of these players that are on the current Blazers will be on the Blazers if and when they get good. And having players that young players are people are interested as parts, maybe gets you something, better when you're grouping it together. I mean, no one's going to give you anything for repair alone, but if you package something with Grant to get, a young forward or someone that you feel is your future, because, if you're like Rupert is untouchable, like you're crazy, like that's not going to help you get better. So, just show me players that.
May I have your attention, please?
Oh.
May I have your attention, please? We are conducting a test on the fire alarm system. We are conducting a test on the fire alarm system. Please disregard all notifications until further notice.
Uh-oh.
Oh, so you don't have to evacuate?
I don't have to evacuate, but it's going to be loud.
Oh, it's about to go off? Okay, we're probably done anyway.
Yeah, we got to wrap up because there's
going to be a
fire
alarm going on at Evergreen School District. Anyway, Blazers start Summer League Sunday against the Spurs. They'll play 4 games. Top teams will go to the Final Four, and then everyone else will play a 5th game. And hopefully Clingan can get all 5 games in, unlike Shaden. Scoot will be back next week to break down, we'll overanalyze Clingan and his performance. And there's the buzzer. Oh my God, we got to go. Thanks for listening.